Yeah, we have a big background today. It's busy today.
Everyone's just over here. All right. Welcome back to episode 15 of the Iron Bros podcast. I am Kyle Wilkes, and I'm with Anthony Mantello.
So what's going on, guys?
Who's always here.
Yeah.
So last episode I thought was a really good one. There's pretty good responses, so I want to kind of start with just recapping what some of the viewers had to comment and their input.
See what people commented.
So in no particular order. We will start with something that I think applies to the crowded gym. We have
The crowded gym, okay.
Mo Morris 9688 said, what are your thoughts on this cringy gym culture that's plaguing probably every gym? The tripods, bandanas, trying to make money, becoming an influencer rather than lifting weights. What do you think caused it and could solve it? Thanks.
I like that comment a lot. All right, so let's answer the question first. What do you think caused it and what can solve it? I think what caused it is simply social media. Me? I guess the different generations inspiring each person to want to do it, you know, for sure. And then I think it all started when TikTok became a thing, right? TikTok and Reels, I feel like that really, it made everyone realize that they could be a fitness influencer. Everyone can have a tripod. Everyone can make a simple workout video, or whether it be like recording in the gym, just any type of content, right? And how can you solve it? I don't really think there is any solving it besides the gym itself that you train at being like, this is a no tripod gym, no filming, you have to ask for permission, and that's the only route to go.
Now, before I answer, let me ask you, does it bother you?
Okay.
And I guess without being hypocritical, because obviously this is part of your job, you've been to other gyms now where you don't really see it at all.
Correct.
There's no tripods.
Correct.
Versus a gym like Iron where it's more popularized, or even like an Alpha Land, things like that. What is your
take on it? How do I feel about it? I'm definitely, I film and stuff, but I'm not one to have a tripod and to really let it interfere with my workout, number one, because I do care about working out. When I go to the gym, it's not for content. It's for my actual passion of lifting and bodybuilding, you know? In terms of other people doing it, I definitely find it bothersome, you know? I definitely would like a gym that's more hardcore weights back in the early 2000s when there wasn't even fucking phones. People had iPods and music and radio and, you know, there was no one in the gym. So if I could time travel, I would choose 2000s. The gyms were empty. The gyms had iron. It was really cool back then.
Yeah, I'd say when I first started, you know.
Yeah.
No one had really tripods at all.
No.
The filming was literally, I would film, I guess, with Phil, like on the phone, just to get like a video out.
Like a person standing by,
Yeah, for critique purposes. And then being around you two, actually, that's when I was like, oh, like they film the workouts. And then like everyone started to, I don't want to say copy, because there's other people that were at your level. But now everyone does it. And it's cool to see that people can kind of create a career from it. Where I find it annoying or distracting is when you're not really actually trying to build a physique. You're doing it more for entertainment.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do
it's like, hey, some people don't have a lot of time in the gym. So there's a time and a place, right? So at 6 p.m. when I used to have a corporate job, or I can just think to my friends that would work all day, they only have a limited amount of time before they have to go home. Maybe they have a family, maybe they have another job, whatever. It's really annoying to see someone like filming and then sitting on their phone, like not doing much.
Sticking around,
That's really annoying. So that's the only problem I have with it. Otherwise, if I see a tripod, I mean, I'd usually walk around it. I don't try to mess it up.
Yeah, listen,
I don't have some people that they don't care. They'll walk through it, and I think that's kind of a dick move.
I agree with you there. I feel like with my wording, people may have misinterpreted me. When I see a tripod, I don't mind it. But the same thing, like people are dicking around, wasting their time, just doing nonsense. Hello, girlfriend. That's what's bothering me.
Yeah.
Next comment?
Okay. Cool.
That was good. That was a really good first question. Before we did this podcast, I saw Kyle do this. I was like, what the hell does that do? Undo. Never knew that feature existed.
Okay, so these next two kind of tie together. We have a comment from Jacob Butcher, and then a comment from Mikey Jamraz. Sorry if I butchered that. Going with Jacob, he mentioned he competed on the 18th. Today is the 30th. His experience was amazing, but he's got really bad body dysmorphia. He did well in his class, so congrats there. But he's up 17 pounds. He knew he was going to binge after, and it looks like he kind of did, so we'll just give our thoughts on that. And then Mikey mentioned that one of his biggest struggles was the body dysmorphia during prep, and then controlling the post-show rebound.
Okay.
He knew it would be hard, but I guess it's harder than he thought it would be. So your thoughts and experiences on gaining weight post-show?
Yeah, I would say to any first-time competitor, it's really hard to nail a perfect rebound or reverse. Most people will rebound because I haven't experienced it yet. I mean, your body was in starvation mode, you know? And body dysmorphia, too, when it comes to prep, is a very common thing. You'll see a lot of people post on social media saying, I thought I was fat here, like prep archives, you know? Right. And they're shredded to the bone. I mean, I'm guilty of that, too. Not really thinking fat, maybe like small or didn't look too good in photos. And I'm like, wait, shit, like, you actually look pretty good. What was the part of the question? It was up 17 pounds, right? Or something like that. 12 pounds, 17 days.
I guess just talking about how to control. The other person was talking about more so they knew it was going to be hard, but how do you control it? Because I guess it's probably harder than they thought.
Yeah. I mean, what do you really say to control it? I guess the best thing you could do, right, is to have the foods that were in prep in your house, nothing else. Don't buy other foods. Don't go out to eat. Like, that's what you can control, and also being disciplined.
Yeah.
There's nothing really else you could really do besides not putting the food in your mouth.
So I think, I mean, these two comments, I think everyone, 90% of people probably struggle.
Yeah.
I have struggled. Grant,
everyone has.
Donuts,
Everyone's
right?
guilty.
So we've all kind of indulged a little bit, and it is really hard. But I think as I've been coaching now for a longer period of time, I've seen a lot of first-timers, and I guess that's where it's like twofold. On one hand, sometimes I used to question maybe I should be harder on them, not just in preparing them, but in staying on top of them. Because especially as you know, communication gets very frequent toward the end of prep.
Yeah, every day.
So it's always a little bit weird thereafter to where I don't want to kind of be a nuisance, and I want to allow some freedom because I don't want them to burn out. But then in cases like this, to where I know the mental component, hey, if you're up 20 pounds in 3 days, it's not good. So I struggled with that for a bit, but now it's just more trying to remind someone like, hey, like, you worked really hard for X amount of weeks. Realize how quickly it can go away. Is that what you really want to do? Because you can't undo that once it happens. So for the one person that's up 17 pounds, you know, you can perhaps pull the reins back in, cut the free meals out. I'm sure there's obviously some eating in there, and just get back to like a baseline diet, maybe a 2-week out diet, and then slowly start to titrate things up from there. You can't go from, your eyes are always going to be bigger than your stomach because your stomach shrinks in prep. You're barely eating any food. And then post-show, you get a cookie for me, donut for him. I don't know what you eat, fruit. You get a little bit, and it's just, you can't stop. And it's not like I try. I just can't stop, right? So it's like, it's super common. But you can control it. Like I said, you're recognizing the type of comment. So hopefully at this point, today's the first, you are second, whatever this is, you're better.
I have a question for you now.
Yeah.
Did you feel guilty on your part when I gained 25 pounds in 3 days after my first contest prep?
Yeah, I did, even before like a video was made or anything, because it's like, I know you worked really hard to get to a certain look, as do others, and then to see it all just unfold. And even like thinking back to when I first did it, I gained 20 pounds maybe or something like that, and I was told, oh, it's just water to come off. No, it's not water, it's fat. And like your body,
after a couple of days, it's
not going anywhere. So that's the hard thing. But I feel guilty because I'm like, oh, maybe I should have, you know, put the gun to his head and said, hey, like, you need to keep sending check-ins, like, stop fucking around. But I didn't, and
I mean, I didn't know.
You live and learn, right?
Yeah.
This next comment we have from user KB2VF.
Random person.
Take a drink every time Kyle says right, and you'll be drunk in under 2 minutes. LOL.
Maybe that's why this person has a random username and not their name.
That's comical. I'm sure they live in their parents' basement. So, moving forward, next comment. EC Williams 777. They've been lifting for over half their life. Never competed, probably never will. They respect people that do. They listen to the podcast. They're commenting because Anthony had asked for everyone to comment.
Thank you.
They're currently 10 to 12% body fat, 212 at 215 at their biggest. Never taken any super subs, just some natural test boosters. They try to kind of just learn and follow us along our journey.
That's awesome. Hey, what was the username?
EC Williams.
EC Williams, thanks for commenting, number one. And I have a lot of respect for naturals that stay natural and have a great build, like 212, 215, 10, 12% body
really
fat.
Good.
That's awesome, bro. Hardworking man.
Next one here we have from Lance Bazinas. The person's 19 years old, on the edge of deciding whether or not going pro is something I want to go for. I know that if I take that route, super subs are probably most likely going to be incorporated into my life. I would love to know about the right way to do them in the smallest amount and least amount of negative health effects down the line.
Wait, so re-say the question again?
Person's 19. They're on the edge of deciding whether or not going pro is something they want to go for.
Okay. The wording's interesting because, I mean, why? It's like, have you competed before? Doesn't seem like it.
I can't.
Because they want to decide if they want to go pro or not. I guess what they're really saying is they want to decide if they want to commit to bodybuilding to one day pursue going pro.
Right.
Because going pro isn't very easy.
No.
And just because you take, PEDs doesn't mean you'll become pro. There's plenty of people that have and haven't gone pro. So I guess it's up to him.
Yeah, I think it's almost like a misconception that people just think they can decide to go pro. I don't know what Lance's physique looks like if he's never taken anything, but all I would say is when you do make the decision to take super subs, it's not a decision that you can undo, right?
No.
Not many people start and stop. It doesn't work that way.
Nope.
So when you do, I would always ask you to remember that a little goes a long way. So keep that in mind, and that applies to all aspects of fitness in general.
And here's a little tip. I wish I knew when I first took stuff to just eat more. I really wish I did. That would have made me grow. It wasn't the PEDs. It was fucking eating.
We'll do a couple more here. The next one's from BG Lift. They're trying to compete without a coach. They've been in contact with people who have competed previously, but they don't want to spend the money, so maybe money's tight. It's tough for them to learn the correct way to peak and the salt water manipulation. They want to run through a practice peak in order to see how many variables need to be controlled and look their best. How far would you recommend me doing that? So, all right.
So listen, I mean, with the question he asked, I think pretty set in stone. Doesn't want to have a coach. I'd obviously recommend one, but he wants to do it himself, being self-taught. That's pretty cool. It's kind of like it's an experience you're just gaining in life, Coaching yourself to step on stage could just be his goal, so it's pretty cool. I guess to properly peak, the route I would go with the knowledge I have now would be this, right? So let's say you do a prep, you do 16 weeks, you get yourself lean however you do it, whether you're carb cycling, you're lean, right? You're ready to start practicing your peak. I guess maybe what me and you do, what he should probably do as well, is like practice. A show's typically on a Saturday, right? So what you could do is have a refeed day on Friday or Saturday, and you assess that look. So let's say when you're, 4 weeks out, you're typically eating 200 grams of carbs on your low days. Now your high day, 600 grams of carbs. You see how you look the next day, you do check-ins, and then you do a moderate carb day, then you see how you look the next day, and you kind of see which look you want to do, right? Maybe the 600 grams of carbs, you're too watery, but after the next moderate day, that water came off, you're still a little bit full, and that's the look you want to go for. So you realize, okay, let me do the 600 grams of carbs 2 days before the show, moderate day before the show, and bam, show day is the best look. In terms of water and sodium manipulation, that just gets kind of complicated, I feel like. People overcomplicate it. The best thing you could do is the consistency you have been doing with salting your meals. In terms of water, it's best to be hydrated, but you do want to pull water a little bit before a show. So what you and I have done, what I've done is basically in peak week, we crank our water all the way up, and then usually it gets up to 2.5 gallons as our peak midway through the week. Some people do this, we don't. Thursday they start lowering it, and then Friday they stop drinking by 4. It's controlled by 4 p.m. around there, right? So basically, that's what my advice would be.
Yeah.
So if you have any other advice from a coach standpoint,
no, I think some of what you said seemed like Sir Kyle himself speaking. Right? It just seems like you learned a little bit.
Yeah,
but
take notes.
I think being ready in terms of leanness by 2 weeks out would be a really good start if you can be ready. And then 2 weeks out, you can give something like that a try to where maybe you have 2 higher days in a row. But always documenting pictures, morning weight, night weight, taking pictures in the gym, out the gym, just so you have a lot of different looks that you try to figure out. And then your goal is to essentially find what weight looks the best. And then going into that last week, a lot of people think there's magic formulas, but as far as from a science perspective, now there are anomalies that people retain a ton of water. So instead of using aldactone, you can start to really play with salt and remove salt the whole week, then put it in last second. Otherwise, people use aldactone, and assuming you don't abuse it, that will do the same thing essentially, but the less variables you can control. So if you are already 4 weeks out, I don't know if this person was 4 weeks out as they say this, but
no,
maybe they're not.
Yeah.
Basically, in general, if you're 4 weeks out, you should start to, you already follow a certain diet. I'm sure you follow a certain split. Maybe you take certain supplements. track your water intake, track your weight daily, so you start to know, okay, after an off day but where maybe my food is lower, I lose X amount of weight. So you start to know. And then as far as that final couple days, right, to determine if someone needs a diuretic, I try not to use them as much as possible. If I need to use them, paying attention to the scale and knowing their look is important. If someone's at their flattest 185 and they're 184, you think they need a diuretic? No, right? There's a problem. They're going to be entirely too flat because you need water to load the muscle. So yeah, that is pretty much it. And then the last comments we have here is from Angela Milan. Hardest part of last prep was no one understanding what truly being in shape felt like, and the people around me not understanding that I could not show up the way I normally would during the last few weeks. I think everyone goes through this. I think having a good support circle is what's needed. But I mean, when I was in the corporate world competing, people would never understand. They'd still ask me to go out. They'd ask why I do this. I'm so tired every day.
Yeah.
Showing up not on time, let's say. And just my output was
different.
Entirely diminished compared to where it should have been. Anything else to add to that?
Sorry, I was just listening to your answer. Yeah. No one understanding what truly being in shape felt like. People around me not understanding they cannot show up when normally do. Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's normal. A good support system, people that understand it. If they don't, man, you can't it's hard for people to put themselves into your shoes, so you can't expect people to understand it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just go Zen mode. That's what I like to do. I don't talk.
For those that don't compete, I think obviously you can't relate because you never competed, and maybe you don't have to compete by any means. But it's to put yourself in the shoes of maybe a competitor. Just think if there was a food that you enjoy having and you can no longer have it. At some point, if you're always kind of hungry, you're just going to be grouchy, a little moody. You're tired. You don't want to have to do these things. Then you're being told to do these things. So that's where it becomes kind of trickery. And yes, they sign up for it. So no empathy there, but that's hopefully able to put you into their shoes a little bit.
All right. So now to get into today's episode.
Yes.
So today's episode, we kind of wanted to play a little game, kind of do something a little bit different, have a little fun here. I've seen this YouTube video around a little bit. It's kind of using fitness influencers, and what we're going to be doing is judging their physique in a bodybuilding standpoint. Their potential, how they would do on a bodybuilding stage. I guess me and you can kind of categorize them in what division they could do. Some of these people I've chosen have competed already. So I guess let's just go into it and kind of just discuss. No?
Sounds good.
All right.
Do I know all of these people?
Yeah, I don't think there's any people you're not familiar with here. All right. To start off, we are good friends with him. David Lade. So you know David. You know
I heard of him.
You know a little bit about him personally. You know his habits. You know his physique. This is a posing video from his Instagram. All right. We got some front double, back double action there. I think he shows his legs too in this video. Yep, there they are.
Okay. So as far as what division, I think he would excel in men's physique. I think if he was really willing to commit, classic could be something based on his detail in his legs. He's a taller guy, so it makes it really challenging to put on that much size.
Yeah.
As far as, so we'll break it down to the category they're going to go in.
Sure.
And then pros and cons.
I think you just spitball anything you want.
All right, so that's my assessment on the divisions. Agree, disagree?
I agree. I think definitely where David's at now, men's physique would be able to happen sooner than classic physique.
For sure. I think he could do well.
Yeah.
The last I saw him, I remember
he weighs like 190 right now.
Building up his back would be what's needed, you know?
Yeah, he needs
to really
more
stand out.
there.
But otherwise, his taper, good proportions, you know?
Yeah. I definitely think you do good men's physique. I know Dave a lot, a lot. So it'd be interesting to see him commit to that bodybuilding life because he is super, super health conscious. Eating sporadic here and there. It goes in these extreme different things. So,
right.
I mean, if he was able to commit and just put himself in that box, I think he'd have some pretty cool genetics to do well in a classic stage. You know?
Do you think he would ever compete?
No.
I agree.
I don't.
He will never.
I think it's funny. A couple years ago, I think he discussed it on a YouTube video, obviously for views and stuff, or just the topic being discussed. But no, I don't think he'd ever compete. No, I do not.
Okay.
But overall, I mean, yeah.
No, he's always had a very good physique.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next up is another one of my friends, good friends, Lexx Little. You met Lex, so you actually got to see him in person, kind of get a feel for him as well. Here's his physique. That was a pretty good photo. Obviously, there's some very well lighting here and stuff like that. He, that's a front. Here's a back shot. It's just his back. This was a year ago.
Yeah.
Just kind of chilling. And then here's his back double.
Not bad. So, I mean, look, he's definitely not in classic.
You don't think he's classic? Let me show you a photo of his quads.
Too much size to be classic.
Even with his quads that he has? Yeah?
Yeah, Lexx Little.
Jesus, man. That's mean. No, he definitely has big quads where...
No, I think, so I'm trying to take the biasness out because we had a conversation with him, right? Mm-hmm. I know he was at like his all-time high in weight. He was doing well.
His new all-time high weight was like 2 days ago. He posted 208.
I think I saw that. So
yeah.
He's growing for sure. Contrary to the nickname, right?
Yeah.
But I just think for him to be able to get to that, he would need it's just a lot of size, man. That's like 2 years of dedication.
For sure.
So I just think it'd be really challenging. I don't think his physique he's strong too.
He is strong,
right? Very strong. So just knowing his biggest issue, he doesn't eat enough.
Correct.
Right. So I think if he locked in, and if he looks like that, not eating, considering that, I think he can probably take off and do really well.
Natural, hasn't touched a single thing before. Yeah. I mean,
but decent quads. I just like the hamstrings, the back. Like for classic bodybuilding, I look at it. You got to have a decent set of legs already.
Yeah.
Like complete to do well. Again, you're asking me to judge if someone's going to do well. For sure. Yeah. Could he do it? Anybody could do it.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about Lex.
Do you think he would compete?
Him and I've had a discussion about it. I don't think he will, no. Because I remember him like talking about it. I believe he was talking about like wanting to compete again in powerlifting or bodybuilding. But since he's natural, and he sees how like some natural competitors look, he was basically like, it ain't worth it. I'm not gonna put my body through that stress, the low libido, the health markers, everything like that. All right.
But for being natural as well, I think it's important to note. I don't know if we're gonna do that for every person, but maybe we can. It's pretty good for being natural to beat 200 pounds.
Who?
Lex.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, next up, we have the Tren Twins. Your clients.
Oh, okay.
So, you know their physiques. A lot of people probably know their physiques.
That I do.
So, I'm very curious. I want to give my input first.
Go ahead.
And then I want you to go all out because you see them from their check-ins to how they follow a protocol, their diet, the way they train, the way they follow a plan. So I'm just going to give my little 2 cents, and I want to hear everything that you got.
Okay.
So the Tren Twins, I think, obviously, the potential is very high. I think it's very high. I think they have good genetics for sure. Very like big muscle bellies. Their height can play a factor in how they want to bodybuild. In the amateur level, I feel like it might be a little. I mean, everything because they're going to do bodybuilding. It's probably a little hard, right?
And to do well. What do you saying?
I think they'll do well.
Yeah.
But due to their height, it's definitely hard, especially if they go if they go pro. When they go pro, with their route they're going to do, because I don't see them doing men's physique. I don't see them classic physique.
They wouldn't do men's physique. Classic would. I don't know if they'd even make the the weight requirement based on their height. They're built to be open guys,
correct.
Like light heavies.
Yeah.
Maybe even heavyweights that are tanks. That's like a Sean Clarita type. He's shorter, but you can't see him doing classic. That wouldn't make sense. Their potential, I think, is very high compared to a lot of people we've seen. As far as, I guess, the pros, I like to speak of the negatives first. So the cons of them, right, is just their lifestyle. They're young.
Lifestyle and training.
They're forced to kind of participate in a lot of things that aren't conducive to bodybuilding.
Yeah.
If they can lock in on their diet and they've been doing really well lately, then I think now they start to have their fair shake when it comes to, hey, how well can they do? So given that they're young, they already have that much like density to their muscles. They train really well. Like their intensity is where it needs to be. Yep. I think the sky's the limit for them. It's just a matter of if they want to get to that level,
Yeah. Now, I'm curious, because obviously, like you mentioned with their social media, right? So they go out and they do some videos here and there, whether it be heavy bench press or arm wrestling, whatever it may be. Do you think, do you tell them not to or to, be careful?
So if once they're in prep, like inside 8 weeks or something like that, they definitely wouldn't be doing any of that kind of stuff. Otherwise, even at the Young LA Block Party, you know, I was the one who kind of stopped them. Unfortunately, everyone was kind of rooting them on to go for like 600 and all these crazy things. But I just think of their future. Like, hey, you guys mentioned you kind of want to bodybuild. You just kind of came into the industry. What a shame it would be to get hurt. Yeah. Because as quick as everyone hits their peak, is as quick as they can go down, right? And none of anyone's contracts is any kind of clause if they get injured. And that's what I always look out for with these younger guys. It's like, hey, you're making really good money now. You're not going to live the rest of your life off what you made today. So if you couldn't make your money anymore because your physiques don't exist, now what are you going to do? You're going to go back to school? I know Mikey and Chris have no desire to go to school and do that kind of stuff. So monitoring that, I think the like prep series when they prep is going to be one for the ages. I think that'll be really cool for people to really see them getting. Again, have they been in good shape? Yes, but we're talking like next level shape.
I was going to ask you that too. Do you think they've never been stage lean before?
No.
How do you think it's harder for like a first time competitor like them to get as lean as someone that's been experienced?
It's going to be challenging, but I think it's going to be because of their lifestyle, not because they're not capable. Right? Okay. I think if I told them to eat shit, they're going to eat shit.
Yeah.
They believe in me like that. They trust the process, but. It's hard when it's, hey, we need you to do a photo shoot, or, hey, people don't see you lifting heavy weight. It gets challenging.
For sure.
Right? So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, I agree. All right, another young LA athlete who's taking the social media world by storm. We have Natty Man Sean, a.k.a. Shizzy. So Shizzy has competed in a bodybuilding show before. This was, I believe, either like beginning of last year or beginning of this year or end of last year. It was relatively recent. He competed in bodybuilding. Here's his side chest, most muscular. I have a photo of him next to like one of the competitors.
Okay.
So,
do you have any back shot?
I did not find a back shot. Honestly, I was trying to scroll.
Why is Shizzy hiding the back shots?
I don't know. Here, give us some talk. Maybe I can try to find one because I know I did try.
As far as Shizzy's physique, I mean, so I got a chance to see him in person, talk to him. Super nice kid, first and foremost. As far as his work ethic, it seems
hardworking.
Yeah, extremely hardworking. Right, he has definitely a killer instinct when it comes to wanting to achieve something.
Yep.
I think classic bodybuilding is where he would fit in. Cons on his physique, he needs to bring up his hamstrings. I believe his back is, compared to other body parts that he has, is not a superior body part. So just putting more time in. And again, I don't know how his nutrition is. I can't imagine anyone that has just got into it that hasn't been. I know how long ago that show was, but given his lifestyle, I think it's probably hard to really be on a plan that I would consider, you know?
I know he's pretty dedicated. Remember at a photo shoot, he brought his own food. He actually lent me some rice cake, so I know he's got that dedication in his blood.
I don't know that. I just know talking to him, like, he mentions really wanting it, but I know he's got some other things going on. But if he put his mind to it, the vibe I get, he could do pretty well, for sure.
No, I mean, he has a lot of muscle. He's 20, I believe 27. Maybe his birthday was recently. No, he's not old. He just has more maturity in his physique. He's got great arms, you know.
Back shot or no?
I found a twisted back double, but like with those, you can't really see too much in terms of a bodybuilding standpoint.
He's a bigger guy. I just think most people need more slabs of meat on there just to do really well.
Yeah.
But as far as aesthetically, I think he's got the shape to
for sure. I definitely
do his thing.
What I like about Shizzy is great physique naturally. I mean, even not naturally, great physique. What I'm saying with that is like damn impressive with what he's built. Amazing arms. I like that when he shows his physique on Instagram, you could see he actually cares about posing. Yeah. You know, he does these classic shots. So therefore, I think like, say he gets stage lean again, right? Competes. It's actually going to be entertaining and seeing his passion in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that is something that some people do miss when they go on stage. They don't showcase their physique well. And therefore, it kind of looks like kind of weird when you see like a really good physique, but you're like, you just didn't care to make a posing routine really well. Like, come on. You just worked you worked your ass off. I definitely think he's got the mindset. I think he has the physique. What would you think it would have to take for him to go pro in an NPC league?
Working with me.
Working with you.
No, aside from that, I think he would just have to put a good solid 12 months in of saying, hey, like I really, as bad as I wanted to grow on social media and give back. Now I need to kind of be selfish with my time and make sure I'm building my physique, getting my meals in. I think if he took it seriously for 12 months, he could do well.
Weren't you guys supposed to work out?
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
Do you want to formally invite him right now?
Sean, if you're listening to this message, you are formally invited to come train legs with me whenever you want. But because legs might not be the most...
He asked for back. When I spoke to him, he was
we can do back, and then maybe we can get like a 2-for-1 special and get like legs the day after.
Alrighty.
But you're welcome to stay with me. I'll even pick you up from the airport. Whatever we need to arrange to make it happen. And then maybe you can sit right over here. That'd be great.
He was at this gym before.
Really?
Yeah.
A while ago?
Summertime.
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
July, I spoke to him.
So, yeah.
Cool. That sounds awesome.
Another good one.
Next up on the list, we have another one of your clients, great friend of mine, ex-roommate, Jesse James West.
Jesse James West.
So, here's his front double. Here's a stage shot at the summer shredding. That's what?
I'm not kidding.
What'd you say?
I said it's edited. I'm kidding.
Oh, I mean...
No, so Jesse's shots... I don't know. I didn't see the next picture as the next person. Jesse's physique, I mean, starting with the fact, again, we're doing all these natural people. They're all incredible, right? As for Jesse, to get in the shape he gets into, I think, not even considering how good he is with YouTube and well-known he's become, I think that's really, really difficult. You don't see many people have his amount of muscle that he carries get in shape. He's got good shape to him. Do I think Jesse could have a future if he really wanted to? It would involve taking something, like to really compete with those guys. They're so much bigger. But, I mean, he's got a good work. Again, the common theme here is those people that have work ethics coupled with decent genetics will always look good.
Yeah.
Right? They will always look good. So he's someone that he's not lazy by any means. And from formerly working with him, when he says he wants something, once I get that text, hey, I'm ready, he just does whatever. If I say, hey, do 40 minutes, he doesn't say, are you sure? I don't really feel like it. He just does it. And then he does like 10 other damn videos on top of it, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, in terms of a bodybuilding standpoint, right? He's gotten conditioned. I feel like as most conditioned as he possibly could have in the standpoint he was in, you know, without enhancements or anything like that.
His biggest con for him is going to be, again, eating, put on a little fluff to put on that size.
But he's been dedicated. He texts me.
He's been doing well.
Yeah. He's been growing for sure. I think some of his good strong points is for sure his biceps. Probably
his back is decent.
His back's good. Yes,
he's more width, but his detail on his back is like pretty impressive.
I'll still never forget that video we recorded when it was before this gym even formally opened.
Oh yeah, where it was like half closed.
Yeah, dude, and his back had feathers and thickness. I was like,
yeah, when he pulls back, I remember seeing him backstage. He pulled back for like not a lat spread, but like he's gonna go into a back double and like it fans. So he gets super lean. You don't even see people on cosmetic-related drugs look like that.
No.
So, yeah, it's pretty phenomenal.
Jesse, you'd be a great bodybuilder, man. Just change your lifestyle.
Kidding.
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing better than all of us.
Plus, Claudia would kill him.
Probably. All right, next up, another one of your clients. Damn, dude, why are all the influencers with you?
I don't know. This is recruiting, so the people that aren't with me, you know, link is in bio.
All right. We have James English. James has competed before. James, I guess, has recently just been in an off season eating blended cake and Oreos and mass gainer shakes. James has some dense muscle to his physique. This is a stage shot, and I forgot how crazy he looked on stage. He got some detailed legs.
James, I mean, James could be a good bodybuilder.
Yeah, he could.
Again, we factor in lifestyle,
yeah, habits.
It's tough. He's been doing a good job. He had a little injury that he's recovering from. So once he gets past that, I think we'll see James by the end of the year on stage with same conditioning, if not better than that, and more muscle. You know, hopefully 10 pounds more is the goal. So if he can commit himself to a diet, I think, again, he's one of the top 5 people that come into mind that I can think of that can be really, really good. That's in this young LA generation.
Yeah. No, I mean, great physique, man. Dense.
You see us an update video on his story the other day?
When he's in the tank.
Oh, and like the lighting, he looked like a gorilla. Yeah.
He came back. He just needs hammies.
He has like, is it narrow or small joint? What's the word I'm looking for?
His joints are small.
Yeah, which is good, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just takes time to put the size on. You know? He just has to stay healthy and not do some dumb shit. James, stop doing dumb shit. Fuck.
All right, another one of your damn clients.
All right, next.
Or ex-clients, sorry. Vaughn Walker.
Vaughn Walker.
I'm not saying that's just the truth, ex-client.
Yes.
So Vaughn competed with you for his only shows he's ever done so far. He's a pro.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he wants to do classic physique. He went pro men's physique. So I have a couple shots here of him. This was more recent, and this was back in prep.
It's a good picture, man.
That is a good picture. Grant took it. So going off of, I guess, how you coach him or anything like that, you obviously got to see a lot of his check-ins. What do you got to say about his potential and his bodybuilding standpoint, physique of Vaughn
So
Walker?
from a physique standpoint, very good.
Great chest.
Very good. His abdominal development's superior.
Yeah.
Right? Like he can
Core
be good.
chest, yeah.
He needs to be a better bodybuilder, and what I mean by that is everything that's outside the gym. He could train in the gym. I've seen him train with the best of the best down there in Revive.
Yeah.
We've trained a few times, but I think outside the gym, mentally staying, he's got a lot of shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
Really having the desire to want it, that's where it's going to be the make or break for him.
Okay.
Because, he only did 2 shows, and he won. We won both. And
Yeah.
I know for the first show, his level of adherence picked up, like it was like more like, I think of a volume, like a dial turning up in terms of like from day one versus the end. By the end, it's just like, hey, Vaughn, like, do this. It's like that's it done.
Yeah.
I mean, he stayed with me for the last 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think earlier on, he didn't have that mindset to realize how good he is. And then as far as, I think, people that don't know, and a reminder, I think both of you are witnesses, we had made the decisions and said, hey, I think the best chance for you to win your pro card is going to be a men's physique right now. I know you really like to do classic, and I think you have a future there, but let's just compete here, get the pro card men's physique. He didn't even know how to pose.
No.
But he learned, like, that dude would just sit in the bathroom. Like, I didn't have to think, where's Vaughn? I just, like, hear him posting around the clock.
Yeah.
So when he could dedicate himself to do it, he could do really well. That'd be the hardest thing.
He's good. I'm definitely excited to see him compete again. Trains hard, everything like that. All right, next up, we have Max Taylor. Not one of your clients this time, but a fellow young LA athlete, fellow friend.
Mm-hmm.
He does love bodybuilding a lot.
Yes, he does.
He is natural. He was self-coached for his recent show. Here's a stage shot of him hitting a most muscular, right? Sorry, I got a text.
It's fine.
What do you think of Max?
So my thoughts, it seems like he's picked up an interest, to say the least, in the last year or so. I know from my conversations with him, he's just someone else. If he sets his mind to it, he can do really well.
I don't know if you know about this, but a lot of people probably don't. He actually competed, I think, when he was like 18 or 17.
Oh, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know
because I was friends with him before I was anything or he was anything.
Yeah.
He competed like long time ago.
I mean, looking at for natural, he's in good shape. Do I think he's in better shape than Jesse? No, I don't think he touches Jesse in condition. So he has a ways to go conditioning wise. But as far as his structure, like, that's a good pose. Like, for anyone, regardless of supplementation, like, that looks good on him. He just needs more size,
So do you think he could have been more conditioned with a coach's help? Not even you, just a coach.
Of course, with me, of course. But with anyone, I think it just helps to be objective. Like, if you're just coaching yourself, it's not that you can't, right? The best players in the world in sports have coaches. They can do it themselves, but sometimes you make, like, stupid calls. And again, think of the body dysmorphia. I think I'm fat, so what are you going to go and do? 2 hours of cardio, not eat? No, you actually need to eat food and relax. I don't know what was going on in Max's Hex. I don't know much about his prep, but I can imagine it's probably super difficult. So maybe he had people giving him some advice?
I remember he called me for peaking for one of his shows. He just, like, asked, like, hey, what do you do? Just, like, kind of picking my brain a little bit.
So I think overall, again, I mean, you're showing like the top guys they can do really well. I just think for him, conditioning, just more size if he really wants to do well. He just needs to pack on. He needs a fat 18 months span and then compete.
Yeah. Oh, I have a photo. I have recent photos of him. Because this is now his bulk. Been eating good.
Good.
And what hard work does to a MF. His back.
So if he's putting the time in,
Yeah.
to actually consume calories and just train and not have this influencer, I need to stay shredded mentality, then he sets himself up to have success. So I'd like to see that.
I will say he's not afraid. I mean, before he got the popularity he has, when
Yeah.
he was younger, like he wasn't afraid of bulk. I'll tell you that. That boy got
Right.
big. He got big.
So Max likes to eat, but no, I mean that's good. I think again, I don't know too much more about how the prep went, but overall, I mean he got to stage, he did well, right? So
All right, so we have another IFBB pro here on the list. We have Jay Lane, another young LA athlete. Here is some check-ins, I guess, before his show that he went pro in. The front relax here. He obviously has great quads on his physique.
and he
front
turned
double.
pro in
Men's physique. He
Okay,
turned pro
okay,
men's
like-
physique at USA's.
okay.
His back, but double. So he has I think a lot of experience under his belt. I think he's done several shows before. So he's, it's not his first rodeo. He's done this. This is his lifestyle. But this was a recent post he actually posted 17 hours ago, and it goes along well with what I have to go here. So, being honest, bodybuilding has been on the back burner since prep. Don't get it twisted. I still train hard AF with a goal in mind. Now, when it comes to following any sort of plan or tracking my meals, never heard of them. I'm very happy with where I'm at body comp wise. Currently the biggest I've ever been and slightly fluffy. Which I will say, this physique, the photo, definitely you see great quads, you see full muscle bellies. So now for future potential and everything like that, now he's in the pro league. He's with the big dogs. What do you got to say?
If he wants to do well,
Yeah.
he needs to become a better bodybuilder. And
Okay.
again, you need to have an off season.
Yep.
Do I think he has good potential? I mean, yeah, he's got great shape. I think he could use more size, but who can? You just turned pro. You're not going to have crazy size yet.
sure,
unless
yeah.
you're Neckzilla.
That is crazy. There's been a lot of freaks the last couple of years. Like Andrew Jack, Neckzilla, just literally climbing the ranks in a
But you
snap
don't
of the
see
finger.
it. Like, you
It
think,
never happens
like,
that
it's
often.
not
no.
as many, but for Jay, again, I think it's more of a how bad do you really want it? You turn pro, but now turning pro is challenging. But once you do, it's nothing compared to doing well as a pro.
Yeah.
So if he wants that, that's where he has to do all that mundane shit, eating the same food, training hard. Just showing up at the gym is not enough at that point when
Yeah.
you want to become next level. But we've never seen, and my point is, I guess, had he been taking an off season and really trying for 2 years, then he had nothing to show for it. Then it's like, okay, like this isn't for you. But he just turned pro, and only he knows how much he's truly tried.
Yeah. So imagine if he.
So his
tried-
off season
yeah.
right now, he probably give himself like a C
Okay.
at most.
Imagine if it was an A+.
Then what? So
Yeah.
do that for 2 years and then revisit, and then I think it'd probably be really good.
That was funny. I had a thought to myself in the shower last night where going pro is like it's there's kind of like checkpoints, right? So let's say you win a regional show.
Yeah.
You're qualified for a year. You could do nationals if you want, or you got a year to do it, whatever. Then you go pro. And then once you go pro, like everyone's on the same level unless you're like already qualified for the Olympia. Because everyone's competing in pro shows trying to qualify for that O. So like that when you get to that pro level, it's like steps above.
Yeah.
Way
for
harder.
sure. Definitely challenge.
Okay. Next up, we have another one of your clients competing. By the time this episode's out, a couple days. Anton Ratushki.
Oh,
Did I say his last name? Ratushki?
Tushny.
Sounds close.
Yeah.
I think I recall it from the Seth Ferosi video. That's how we
Yeah,
said it.
yeah.
So this was at the Axe and Sledge photo shoot. Right? He's a big, like, he kind of looks big. He kind of looks like Dorian here like when I'm looking at him real quick. Maybe it's the black and white, but he looks like a bigger boy, like big bone to a degree.
I mean, Anton, it's hard to really compare him to anyone else. He's younger than everyone else, and he already has pretty much better physiques, I guess, than anybody we
Shit,
really,
yep.
most people, right, to say the least. I think for him, he can do. He's a rare specimen in terms of where he can go and what he can accomplish. As far as his future, I think classic he can remain in for a very long time. He's not even near the weight requirement, and that's before turning pro. Turning pro, you get the extra 10 pounds, right?
Yep.
So I think I'd be interested to see where 2 to 3 years are for him. I think he'll be at the top.
Top dog.
Yeah, he'll be a top dog.
I can see it for sure.
Any other comments about him?
Hey, I'm extremely impressed. I'm excited to see him at nationals. I mean, there's not much to say besides he's extremely developed in all areas, you know?
I hope he's in shape at nationals.
I mean, you got control over him. I'm sure you got check-ins this morning. I'm sure you know how he looks. All right. We have an older influencer, before influencer was even a word for fitness, Jeff Seid.
Oh, okay.
So I have a recent photo of his physique here. I guess it really just shows he's in shape. You know, he's in shape. He has muscle, obviously, to be in the shape.
Yeah.
Now, here's a photo of his physique back when he competed at the Mr. Olympia. So now with Jeff, obviously we know he has the potential to be at the Olympia because he was when the division wasn't as advanced as it is now.
Yeah.
I guess you could say. I don't think Jeff wants to be an Olympian anymore.
No.
But this physique got 16th place at the Olympia back in 2016. So I think this time of the world, 2023, I think it'd be closer to the last call-outs again because I feel like it just evolved in such a different division than what it used to be. But I mean, what else can you say? Great genetics, right?
I mean, you look at he's got just his clavicles, his proportions are really good for men's physique. However, now the difference is like that look
isn't what they're going for.
There's no way that's what it wouldn't stack up at all against even guys in the third, fourth call out. His detail, like I said, his midsection, that is what men's physique was. So he brought what was needed. So who's to say that if the requirements were a little different, he couldn't have packed on more muscle?
Yeah.
But yeah, his conditioning was where it needed to be.
Jeff's side.
He's still in shape. That first picture, right? He's still in shape. He just doesn't.
He's always in shape. He never really gets fat. He is known for the aesthetic lifestyle, like Z's.
That's cool though. You can maintain that.
Yeah. All right. Next up, you've met him before. He's competed once, I believe, in his lifetime. Oliver Forslin. I've known him for a while. I've known him since I was 16. He's come a long way. He went from a KFC worker in Sweden to a Dubai fitness influencer.
Yes.
So here was his physique. He did a classic and men's physique. He was coached by Milos. And I believe, don't take me word for word on this, but I remember seeing a post or something where, I don't think he's really been on anything since the show. I feel like I think I saw him say something he doesn't want to be on stuff right now. I don't think he liked it when he did prep. I could be totally wrong here. I hope I'm not. But
what I've seen recently of Oliver, so I mean, he did phenomenal his last show. He got in great shape. As really, again, from a physique standpoint, very aesthetic. Same critiques as most guys from the back, right? They always have the show muscles where they look great.
I got the back photo, I think. Shit, I don't. But I have a photo of him.
As far as I saw recently, I think he's on Accutane and stuff. So
he's always been on Accutane since a young age.
So that's not healthy. So that and bodybuilding don't work together very well. So if he's always going to have hormonal problems, then he's not someone that can run certain substances. So he limits how far he can go.
Okay.
Again, does he look good? Yeah, he looks great.
So now when I remember sorry, this is a photo of him lined up with people, right?
Yeah.
I forget what call out this was. He got 6th in class because that's second call outs. What would he have to do to get to a first call out in a NPC national level show?
I just think, like I said,
size.
Yeah, he has the detail. Like his conditioning wasn't an issue. Could he have been a little? If I remember, he was pretty. He could have been maybe a little bit more, but he would have lost maybe pop in size to his in fullness. But I just think more size. He needs bigger legs, harder legs. That's it.
All right. Now, next up is someone we could talk about who is no longer here with us. He was a good friend. His name is Ryeley Palfi. I did have the chance to work out with him back in 2020. He passed away, sadly, a little bit over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. He was, I believe, 19 here.
Wow.
So he competed, I believe, once before when he was fucking 15, man. And he looked crazy then. But, yeah, here's his physique. This was, I guess right before he passed away.
Yeah, I mean, for someone 19, again, it's few and far between, so.
Would you say he kind of reminds you of an Anton in terms of the size?
Yeah, it looks like he had that kind of size to him, yeah.
Yeah. That was crazy. He had a, I remember, me and him would talk at the Arnold when we met. He also had a big passion for bodybuilding. That's what he wanted to do. He was the same thing like me, just eating food, living like everything revolved around his
So
gym
he was like
and
a
food.
good bodybuilder.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
He wasn't dicking around.
Oh, it's a shame.
I know. I think he could have been a top dog too. Rest in peace to Ryeley. Now, we have a guy here who watches the podcast. His name is Jack Eagles. Now, probably people may have not heard of him who is watching this. He is a bodybuilder out of the UK. He's maybe 21 now, 20. But he's young. He's younger than me. And yeah, I mean, just take a look at him. You know him, but his physique's crazy. This is him in his reverse after his show where he went pro.
Yeah, and, I mean, I saw pictures. I actually spoke to him a little bit in messages. I think from head to toe, he looks pretty complete for someone that's young. Again, it's hard. Like, you look at his back, or the one picture you just showed me.
Yep.
You know, someone will look at that, and if I have a microscope, I say, okay, like, you know, we need more details. He could have been tighter for sure. But again, when you're that young, especially, you're chasing something that doesn't exist because you don't have enough muscle to get that tight. It would deflate and look like an Ethiopian or something. As far as like where he can get better, just giving it some more time, man. If he just continues to add mass across his traps, his legs continue to get bigger. He's got decent glutes already, but if they get bigger, quads get better, I think he's got a really good physique, man. So he just has to chase quality muscle, not stacking tons of size on him in the wrong spots, right? Because you're only as good as your dimensions stay.
Yeah. No, I mean, I follow Jack and I keep up with him actually on his close friends list on Instagram. But he's a hardcore bodybuilder. He's cool. It's cool to see.
It should be interesting to see in the future.
Potential. All right, I had to throw him in here. Sam Sulek.
Sam Sulek. So he's been the talk of the industry this past year.
Everyone wants to
came
talk
out of
about
nowhere.
him. Everyone, yep.
Has good size to him. I know he's not competing. Do I see him competing? I don't know. I'll be honest.
No.
He has quality size, it appears, from these pictures as far as getting, to stage lean. We don't know exactly what the finished product looks like because he hasn't been there yet. He has all the intangibles to be a good bodybuilder from a physique standpoint. His particular habits and all of that, I don't think that's not sustainable. Right now it is. He's younger. But at some point, 5 years down the road, I'm sure he'll transition into what's atypical for those Olympian bodybuilders and those food choices and stuff like that. But right now he's young, so he's living the American dream. Kind of came, if I saw pictures, he was like wearing like some crossing guard thing back in the day, right? Not too long
he
ago.
used to paint sidewalks for the township.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a kid, right? So a lot of people get on him about his eating habits. Is it sustainable, like I said? Like, no, it's not the healthiest thing if you're going to be a full-on bodybuilder taking supplements, but he's built a solid physique and foundation. So if he does compete, I'd be really interested to see.
I'd be super curious to see, too.
How well he can do. If he wants, he doesn't have to. He's built a name for himself without competing. So I think that's also cool, too. It's always the what-if mystery.
Yeah. No, I'd be curious. I'd be curious. I think he'd do super well at a regional show, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think he'd do probably quite well at a national show, but I'd be curious to see, like, the guys that have been, like legit, like 3D, like been on like that bodybuilding grind for a long time at a national level where he would stack up because his weight, I mean, he's pretty lean at this is him on his cut, so he's probably like 230 something here.
Without a doubt, one of the most impressive kids, for sure.
I'd be curious to see how he stands up. All right. We have a friend here, Christian Guzman. Christian. So you obviously know he has a lot on his plate. He is very passionate. He really wants to go pro. That is on his 10-year goal list. So it seems like something he will always commit to and have in his lifestyle. He recently competed in what is this? The North American Championships, probably in September. Was that?
Yeah. And
he got first call. I think he got like 6th place or 5th.
Mm-hmm.
So, Christian, what do you got to say?
So, from a physique standpoint, he needs muscle, right? I think without a doubt, he can get in decent shape, to say the least. I recall during his preps, like, just given what's on his plate, it's hard. That's not an excuse to show up not at your best. But for him to get to the all-time best, there's a difference between doing nothing with his life and shutting all other aspects down and just focusing on bodybuilding. But I think for Christian, he needs to just be an all-around bodybuilder, not just in prep. in prep. He seems to be on his game, does his cardio. That doesn't work unless you are a superior athlete, genetically gifted. Then you can get away with kind of what I would say is dicking around. But I know his rebound was atrocious. It was not good. And again, we understand why. Everything he's got going on, just it's very difficult to kind of just stay locked in. But I think if he wants to turn pro, he needs to give it a real offseason, at least at 80% what he puts into his preps. If he does that for 2 years, then shows up with the shape here, even slightly harder, then I think he can do well. Because he got first call out here, and I think arguably, depending on the show, like that's not always going to be the case, right? So he's got a lot of goals, and he seems the one thing that's going in favor for him, for anyone that like doesn't think he's got a good physique, is he usually accomplishes everything on his list.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of, hey, instead of competing every year,
let's chill
actually
for a little
pretend
bit,
you're
grow.
competing, like
Yep.
grow, put some size on, and then mark the calendar and just gun it.
I agree with you. I definitely think. I mean, I remember. Hey, not yet. Don't get excited. He's scrolling too fast, bro. Could have been nudies on that. All right. No, Christian. So I remember him and I both competed. Last time I competed, like July, at the same time, and then he rebounded, and then like hopped in a prep pretty quickly to compete again this September. I was like, prep's like 4 months to say. So reverse, he had like 2 months, 3 months of like a potential off season, but I definitely think he's aware of what he has to do now.
Yeah.
So I definitely think with time it could happen, and it will happen, and I think he's one to accomplish his goals. So
Yeah, it's just a matter, is the sacrifice worth it? Because you ask about his rebound or whatnot. He didn't rebound. He didn't follow any. He just, there was nothing to follow. He just kind of just enjoyed his life, which is perfectly fine.
Which is
right?
what he likes to do. Yeah, I remember talking
but it's
about
just
it.
super hard in terms of getting to that goal. Didn't do him any favors, but mentally it probably made him happier, put him in a good spot. So,
Yeah.
But now he has to just restart everything.
Yeah. All right, so we have three left, guys. Now, another one of my friends, I don't think you've actually met him. His name is Gabe. I actually don't know how to pronounce his last name. Gabe Deustch. Douche. Douchette? Douche. I don't know.
I don't know.
I got to ask him next time I see him. So he's natural. He is, I believe, my age, if not a year older. It's his back. It's his front. In terms of my standpoint, what I have to say about him is, obviously he's on the smaller side, right? He doesn't have a lot of tissue. Going back to like how we started the video, I think the category he would excel in would be men's physique, if any.
Yeah.
He's got some pretty boy genetics to him, for sure. I don't really think he follows a diet plan. He looks like this. So once again, if he put some time into, if you wanted to compete one day, there's different divisions out there like the OCB or AMBF, whatever it is. I definitely think he'd do amazing there. In terms of the NPC route, at some regional shows, I definitely think if he put on some good tissue, got a good coach, and got conditioned, he could do well. It's not like, he doesn't have bad genetics. I think he has pretty good genetics.
He doesn't even follow anything, and he looks
exactly.
like that, and he's that lean, and he doesn't take anything. That's good genetics.
Yeah. So I definitely think, if he wanted to ever compete and just have like a nice achievement under his belt, he could do it. Now, jeez. This is my friend Niall. He watches the podcast.
Oh.
Hey, Niall. He also by OnePunchNaz on Instagram.
Looks like a bodybuilder.
I believe it's an anime reference.
Okay.
So here was his last show with the Arnold Classic. He got invited to UK. He actually placed. Hey,
oh, sorry.
you
You give me 2 pictures. I want to see some videos. It's okay. Go on.
He got last place here at the Arnold Classic. Got last place here. I'm pretty sure lit a fire under his ass.
Okay.
He's been training real hard ever since. I'm sure he was training hard before that, but this is him, I believe, at 240 something or 250 now, and he's pretty fucking lean for 250.
Yeah, I mean, in that picture, that's the hard thing is like we go off pictures sometimes where no one ever posts a picture that they don't look good and they don't like.
Yeah.
But I'd be interested to see next to the other guys on stage
Uh-huh.
why he got last. Was it a conditioning thing? Because it looks like in that picture he's got some size to him for sure.
Here, let me go find it.
And sometimes it's not even the conditioning. Sometimes they just can't pose or something,
So I like a lot about Niall. I've known him for a long time, and he actually used to be a part of this group when I was younger. They were called Alien Age. It was an Instagram account. with a couple bodybuilders who are older than me. You know one of them, I think Colton Bunda. Does that name sound familiar?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah. They were a little bit older than me, and they all competed. And I looked up to them. I was like, these guys are serious bodybuilders, you know? He stayed natural for a long, long time. Here's his physique naturally to like enhance, I believe.
I mean, from the front, other than he needs more chest, but he looks bubbly. He's got muscle. I can only imagine he must have been undersized for the Arnold UK, you know?
I'm actually right near his stage shot. There's the Arnold. Here you go.
Yeah, it's going to be a conditioning thing for him.
So conditioning, you said, for that show?
Based on what that shows, yeah, because usually even on like iPhone type pictures or videos, you look sharper. Sorry.
Can you move your fucking foot?
I can't, man. My knee hurts.
Bro, my knee hurts too. I'm trying to extend it.
Your knee hurts at your age? You are
I just squatted yesterday.
You are screwed.
No, I'm not. It doesn't hurt bad. It's not knee pain. It's really, you lost your knee.
I lost my quad because of childish shit.
Back to the guy I want to talk about. God damn, bro. Niall. Yes. I think he has outstanding potential. I am very, very excited to see him compete when he competes again in 2024. I actually spoke to him 2 days ago in the DM. Oh, really? I don't know if he wants it to be shared where he's doing it, but I'm not going to share it. But he's competing in 2024, and I'm excited to see him compete.
Very cool.
He's got a big ass too, dude.
Just need to get his big ass in shape.
Well, doesn't seem like it'll be too hard.
Looks like he's got the intangibles to do well.
All right, last up.
What joke do you have for number 20? I can only imagine. Is it a good person or is it a joke? Let's hear it. I'm going to guess it's like you. What's number 20?
So mean.
Zack Jennings.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to like show you or Grant or
no,
me
it wasn't
or some
a joke.
Shit.
Zack Jennings.
Zach.
So Zack, I've known Zack for a long, long time as well. He's competed in multiple shows since a young age. He's a bigger boy.
Yeah.
He's a bigger boy. He's strong as an ox.
Go ahead.
Competes in men's physique and classic physique. I believe he's doing, to my understanding, men's physique to go pro, and I think he wants to do classic as a pro.
Okay.
This is his last show, and he got 4th at the Universe. So let's hear your critiques, your potential, your outlook.
Zack needs to get in shape. He's never been in shape.
I agree. He's got in the lean.
How he's capable. He's got enough muscle to like lose some. If he comes in sharp from the front, that's very dominating because he's big enough where, again, he's not going to be in men's physique for long.
Yeah.
So he's capable of going to classic, and that means you have a good upper body. So he's got a phenomenal front shot. His back, he could add more size here and ensure his taper stays the best, but he just needs to get dialed in, and that's a pro card very easy in men's physique for his height, for sure. In classic, I don't really see how his legs are. I know he's a strong kid. He's young, so he likes to compete. He's competed a few times, and off-season diet might not be the most adherent to a plan, but when he's ready to tighten up, he'll do super well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think he actually needs to get leaner for his shows and potentially just have a better off-season. But I think he, without a doubt, he'll be pro.
Yeah, that was a good one to end on. He's good. I forgot about him.
Cool. All right, so that actually was a longer episode than we thought.
Was it?
It's going to be out to be an hour.
Very cool.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to end this one here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments below. You guys can ask more questions because if you guys enjoyed that comment section of the video where we answered it, feel free to ask us more and we can pick out like a couple comments to answer in the beginning of every episode, and we'll have those timestamps there. So like if you guys don't want to view them, you can just fucking click to get to the video. And if you do, you can sit through and see every single question we answer. So on that note, we're going to end episode 15 here with a fist pump. Toodaloo, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.